7 Pro Tips to maximize your productivity. Tip number 1. Minimize distractions. As a software developers, we work on many complex problems and we have to use a bunch of tools, coding platforms, apps and online resources, which consume lots of time and require a great deal of learning. So we really need to stay focused and pay attention in order to solve hard problems effectively. And if you are constantly interrupted, it will be hard to get back in the working state, and it can take you around 15 to 20 minutes to regain the focus on the problem you are trying to solve. So stop wasting time on social media, news and other content-consuming platforms. When you are working, turn off all the notifications from your smartphone and desktop apps. It just hinders your precious focus and decreases your overall productivity. You can take the help of some apps or extensions to limit your time on certain sites, or you can also block the websites. Also, try to minimize the tabs and windows opened in your browser and declutter the desktop folder. In most cases, you don't need more than 5 browser tabs or 5 code windows opened at the same time. The more windows and tabs you have open, the more distractions you'll have, plus more chances to make errors in your code. Tip number 2. Stop multitasking. Multitasking is not working, it's a myth. There was actually one study that showed that only 2% of subjects can do multitasking with the same efficiency levels as performing one task at a time. But the other 98% are not capable of this feat. Maybe you are that genius, but it's definitely not most people's case, me included. So, in order to be more productive, we should always focus on only one thing at a time, instead of being a multitasking person. For example, do not try writing your code while simultaneously reviewing someone else's code. You'll probably end up with both tasks half finished, and it would take you less time actually to tackle tasks one by one. The multitasking itself is really hard for our brains. When you try to do multiple things together, you need to switch between tasks and it becomes a distraction. Instead of being productive, you will find that you need to backtrack a lot, because every time you have to find out where you last left off. So pick one task, complete it and move on to the next one. Tip number 3. Plan ahead. Always know what you are doing and have a work plan for the day. The to-do list should be waiting for you when you sit down at your desk to do your job. A lot of freelancers or people who work from home are having a really hard time planning their workday. Remember that a well-planned structure is really important for success. Even if you work for a company and they give you the freedom to do pretty much everything you want, it's up to you to structure your workday correctly. Organize your day for everything and structure your work the moment you wake up or the night before. It does take a lot of self-control, but it pays off to be consistent. Don't just take things as they come. Try to start working at the same time every day, and also take planned breaks at the specific time you set for yourself. Make a habit to follow a proper routine to stop being random in your work, and you will definitely feel the positive impact of this simple habit. Tip number 4. Customize your IDE for faster development. Regardless of your choice of development environment for coding, customizing it to maximize coding speed and accuracy is an action you have to take for an increased productivity. Think about it, this is the tool with which you spend most of your working hours as a developer. Any modern-day IDEs come with a lot of configuration options to tailor them to each developer's needs. Starting with simple things like syntax highlighting, you can configure it to help you with mundane and repetitive tasks that add up to take a chunk from your working hours. For example, you can set up the IDE to provide code completion, code suggestion, auto-formatting, and refactoring, code analysis and report generation. If your IDE doesn't have built-in configuration options to set up these tasks, install plugins to handle them. Code snippets can save you from writing the same code over and over again, and some plugins such as syntax highlighting make your code more readable and help you with finding the syntax errors easily. Customizing your IDE properly even results in writing cleaner and more reusable code without having to spend too much of your precious time on manual refactoring. Tip number 5. Master the command line. Graphical user interfaces are cool, but they are also a major reason for losing seconds that add up to hours when we are working. But if you master the command line, you can complete tasks like creating and editing files without even taking your hands off the keyboard. If you are new to the command line, learning it may look like a daunting task, but once you have passed that phase, knowing how to work on the command line is a reward that could increase your productivity considerably. Tip number 6. Invest your time in code review. Efficient developers always want their code to be reviewed by someone else. It allows the developers to check if the application has any bugs or if the code can be improved. This allows programmers to share feedback and knowledge, and it's always good to have a second pair of eyes to look over a solution before it goes to production. Doing pair programming really helps in being productive. If a colleague sitting next to you is familiar with what you are doing in your application, then he or she may share the useful knowledge, feedback, or the solution for some problem when you are stuck in your code. This practice not only makes you a better developer, but also makes you more productive. Tip number 7. Always learn something new and work on new projects. It's easy to stop learning new things once you get a job. You get complacent with technologies you are using at work, your passion for learning new technologies goes away and you may suffer later in your career. Always keep an eye on the latest programming news and buzzwords in the developer community to identify the tools that would allow you to do more things in less time. For example, it might be a new framework or a library. After initial research, to make sure the tool has the right set of features you are looking for, test it yourself and discover if it has the potential to improve your productivity. Also, one of the best things you can do for your career is to work on some side projects and learn new things. You can also listen to podcasts while driving to work and back. Learning new skills makes you more creative, broadens your worldview and brings new ideas, which can make you happier, healthier, and help you earn more money. Bonus tip: get proper sleep. If you were a superhero, sleep would be your superpower. Working fewer hours can help you remain productive. In the meantime, you also need to get proper sleep. Without a good quality sleep, you can easily hamper your productivity to a great extent. Not to mention, improper sleep can also be bad for your health and cognitive capabilities. So try to get at least 7 hours of good quality sleep every night, and you will be amazed by the levels of motivation and your problem-solving capabilities the next morning. And how do you stay productive? I would love to read your tips and tricks for hacking productivity in the comment section. It was Dimitri, see you in the next video.